So I guess I'll start from the beginning. Back in February of last year, we had discussed where the library was going to go. With one swing vote, it went to True North instead of Emerald Knight. Emerald Knight was $3.5 million for the acquisition. Since it was the lowest one, FEMA said that they would cover that. So, since True North wanted $7.5 million, we had to cover the difference of $4 million, even though it was assessed at $1.5 million. That's $6 million difference. Of course, they didn't own the property at the time, so they had to hurry up and buy it right after that vote, and they did, and they spent about $3.6 million on it. But they still made a good profit of $4 million in a 9-month span from the time they sold it in March of last year and or bought it from March of last year to December. So $7.5 million. So you guys vote in on December 14th, even though the Lost Oversight Committee, which I sit on, voted against using lost funds. The council voted on December 14th to fill that gap. The agenda says $4 million, and then it says you approve $4 million of lost funds. I go to the Lost Committee meeting on February 3rd, and we get the spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet here says that $4.8 million was obligated. So I questioned our city auditor, Casey Drew. And he said he'll look into it. I said, I just looked at that agenda that same day of February 3rd, and it said $4 million, unless the council suddenly changed it at the last second, because I was at that council meeting, and I don't remember them doing that. I remember $4 million. I followed up with the minutes to make sure. Anyway, we get this detailed account of all the expenditures. The library wasn't on there, and I asked why, and I said, oh, it's probably not been spent yet. And he said, yeah, it's not been spent yet. This was February 3rd. Well, I'm looking in the weekly paid claims, and I see that True North got their $7.5 million total on the weekly paid claims of January 11th, several weeks before this meeting. So you guys did buy it. But the thing that disturbed me was that $4.8 million was taken out of law. Not $4 million, that was approved by council. But $4.8 million, there was a check written from the lost funds. You guys approved $4 million. So I go back to my detail and everything to make sure maybe it wasn't included in here as being expended on February 3rd because, you know, we were supposed to have a meeting at the end of January and it was postponed because of a budget meeting. So maybe this detailed expenditure list that we got as the Lost Committee members by the city auditor, maybe it just wasn't updated enough. But there are pages and pages of expenditures from lost funds from January 11th, January 17th, January 24th, January 31st, even an entry from February 1st, 2 days before our meeting. So there's no reason why it wasn't